It means you let your kids tackle you at the door and wrinkle your shirt and steal your heart. It means you save some of your best energy for the people at home, not just the people at work. It also means you give yourself grace when you blow it. You will snap when you wish you'd stayed calm. You will check your phone when you wish you'd kept it in your pocket. You will miss a thing you wish you had made it to. You can repair, you can apologize, you can say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and mean it. Hey friends, welcome back to Clear Enough, the podcast about getting clear on what matters one imperfect step at a time. I'm your host, Drew, and today we're talking about one of my favorite topics in the world, being a dad as my dream job. Not a side role, not the thing that gets left over after work. For me, it's the dream, the thing I wanted before I knew what a resume was. When I was in first or second grade, the teacher did that thing. What do you want to be when you grow up? All the other little boys wanted to be firefighters, astronauts, police officers, big, heroic jobs. When it was my turn, I said, I want to be a dad. That was it. That was the dream. I didn't have a detailed plan. I didn't know what a mortgage was. I just knew that having a family, having kids, that's what my heart wanted. Fast forward to now. I'm married, I have the kids, I work, I sit in meetings, I deal with emails, projects, and deadlines. But here's the funny thing. Some people get a lot of purpose and meaning from their jobs. But for me, I feel like I leave my dream job to go to work. Then I get to come home to my dream job every night. It doesn't mean I'm a perfect dad. Heck no. I mess up all the time. I get tired, I get stressed, I get short with my kids. There are nights when I'm counting down the minutes until bedtime, not because I'm such a patient, present person, but because I'm done. But even inside all that mess, I know that I'm getting to live the dream that little first grade me wanted. And I feel a lot of responsibility to live it on purpose, not just by accident. One of the best ways to see what really matters to you is to look at your calendar. You can say family first all day long, but your calendar will rat you out. So I try, as best as I can, to make sure my schedule reflects what I actually care about. Here are a few simple things that are built into our days and weeks. We try to eat dinner together most nights. We aren't perfect. Sometimes there's an activity where someone is sick or the day explodes, but our default plan is to sit at the table and eat the same meal at the same time. After dinner, we clean up together. Everyone helps reset the living room, dining room, kitchen. It's not fancy. It's not chore charts and gold stars. It's we live here together, we clean here together. It's less about the dishes being done and more about the idea that we take care of our space because we take care of each other. We also try to go on a walk most nights. No headphones, no screens, just 20 to 25 minutes where we walk around the neighborhood and talk about school, friends, weird thoughts, what we saw on YouTube, whatever comes up. And then there's bedtime. I read to the kids at night. I try to take at least a couple of minutes with each of them. I ask about their day. I ask what was hard, what was funny, and what they're excited about tomorrow. Do I always feel like doing it? No. Most parents know that bedtime can be torturous. By the time bedtime hits, I'm tired too. The kids can be wild or cranky. There are nights when I would rather sit on the couch and scroll on my phone, but I keep coming back to this question. Does my time match my values? If I say my kids matter more than anything, but I'm always too tired for the only 30 minutes of the day when they actually want to talk to me, something's off. So I keep showing up, imperfectly, but on purpose. I also try to beat every sports game, every recital, every school award ceremony I can physically get to. For example, I recently missed one because I was at a meeting in another state. And sometimes my wife and I have to divide and conquer. One of us goes to soccer and the other goes to volleyball. But I don't skip because it's inconvenient. Providing financially is part of what being a dad is for me. That matters. But so does showing up emotionally. So does cheering from the stands. So does being the person in the crowd your kids look for when they hit the ball or nail a routine, or when they totally miss the shot and needs a thumbs up anyway. I'm lucky. I have two different men in my life that I call dad. My birth dad, Ken, was a farmer. He worked a lot. Early mornings, long days, long seasons. Farmers don't get to clock out at 5 o'clock. But here's what I remember. We could go spend time with him while he worked. We'd ride in the tractor with him. We would play in the shop while he fixed equipment. Before harvest week, we helped set up the warehouse for onion heads. We earned spending money for summer trips by helping Dad on the farm. His work world was not mysterious or separate. It was a place we could join. He had a CB radio in the tractor, and sometimes he'd call home and flirt with my mom over the radio. That taught me something. Work was important, but so was his relationship with her. Sundays were pancakes in the morning. A lot of Sunday nights were fried spaghetti, which was spaghetti noodles in a frying pan with hot dogs and barbecue sauce. It was weird and great and very Dad. He took Sunday afternoon naps, but that didn't stop him from wrestling with us in the living room. That mix of work ethic and play shaped me. Then there's my uncle, who raised me after my parents were gone. I call him Dad too. He also worked long hours. He carried a lot. He did what he thought a dad was supposed to do. When we were training to climb Mount Whitney, he would take me hiking or biking early in the morning before I went to school and he went to work. He took me to work with him sometimes so I could see what that world looked like. Our relationship was complicated. I've talked about the hard parts in other episodes. There were words and moments that still sting when I think about them. But I am so grateful that he and my aunt took me in when they didn't have to. They did the best they could with the tools and experiences they had. Those two men, in very different ways, taught me that being a dad is work and time and presence. It's not perfection. It's not clean, but it is holy ground. There's one trip that really marked me as a dad and as a provider. Back when I ran my own law firm, I decided to take the family to Disney World. I wanted to do it in a very specific way. I didn't want to put the whole thing on a credit card and deal with it later. I wanted to pay for the trip before we went. Tickets, hotels, travel, food, souvenirs, all of it. I also wanted a little reserve fund in the bank for anything extra. So for a couple of months before the trip, I worked my tail off. Extra hours, extra clients, extra everything. On October 8th, I hit the number. I remember calling my wife, emotional and in tears, and saying, "We did it. We have enough." That moment taught me two things. First, I could push myself and make more money if I needed to. I could sprint. That was useful to learn. It gave me confidence that if our family needed something, I could grind for a season and make it happen. Second, and more importantly, it reminded me that money is not the main point. When it was time for the trip, I did something that felt risky. As a small business owner, I put an out-of-office message on my email and voicemail that said something like, "I'm on a trip with my family. They are my priority, just like I know that your family is your priority. I will be focused on them during this time and will respond to messages when we return." Then I did the absolute terrifying thing. I actually unplugged. No calls, no emails, no sneaking into my inbox in the hotel bathroom. I was just there, riding rides, watching my kids' faces light up, eating overpriced churros, being in the moment. It remains one of the best trips we have ever taken as a family. What did I gain? Peace, presence, deeper connection with my wife and kids, the feeling of really being in my own life instead of watching it through the lens of productivity. And what did I lose? A week of responsiveness with clients, a few opportunities maybe. Nothing that mattered as much as the memories we made. Gretchen Rubin has a quote that fits perfectly here. "The days are long, but the years are short." Those Disney days were long. We were tired. There were meltdowns. There was heat and lines and whining. But those years, that stretch of our kids' childhood, that window where everyone is still excited to match shirts and take pictures with Mickey, that window is short. That trip reminded me to let my choices match that reality. Every family has unspoken rules. I like having some spoken ones. Here are a few non-negotiables for us. First, the family walk after dinner. Like I said earlier, no headphones. No one walks ahead with earbuds in. The whole point is that for at least 20 to 25 minutes, we are in the same conversation. Second, kids' games and performances. If we are in town, we go. If two kids are playing at the same time, we split. But I don't skip because work got busy. I just don't want my kids thinking, Dad goes to meetings but not to my games, if I can help it. Third, I've built flexibility into my career on purpose. I've chosen and negotiated roles that allow some remote work. That means if a kid is sick, or if there's a school assembly at 11 a.m., I can work from home and pop over to school for an hour without losing the whole day. Not every job allows that. I get it. But where I have had any control at all, I've tried to use it in a way that gives me more access to my kids' lives, not less. I can't be there for every moment. No one can. But I can make sure that my kids know that when I have a choice, I choose them. Let's be honest. There are seasons when work wins more of your time and energy. A big project, a tight deadline, a busy quarter. I struggle with those seasons because truthfully, I would rather be at home than at work. I don't hate work. I just like my people more. My ideal schedule would be something like work from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., hang out and do breakfast with the kids and then do school drop-offs, work during the day, take a break when they get home from school. Then, after they're in bed, work a few more hours if needed. Sometimes I can get close to that. Sometimes I can't. When I can't, and there's a true sprint, I have to be very intentional. Here are a few things that help. I decide in advance what time I'm giving my family, no matter what. Maybe it's dinner and the hour before bedtime. Even if I may have to work after they sleep, I try to protect that window as much as possible. During that time, I try not to sit on the couch thinking about my inbox while my kids talk to me. I try to actually listen, to get on the floor, to watch the show with them, to be a real person, not just a preoccupied body. I ask my wife for help directly. That part is huge. I'll say, hey, the next 2 weeks are going to be rough. I'm going to need to work more evenings. Can you help with more of X and Y for a bit? Here's what I'll still make sure I take care of. That conversation doesn't fix everything, but it keeps us honest. It keeps resentment from building quietly. I also try to share hobbies with my kids that refuel me and connect us. I like movies, puzzles, and walks. So I look for movies they might like that also light me up. Old movies they never find on their own. The Sandlot is one we talked about recently. I want to show them that. Recovery is not always about a dark room and silence or doom scrolling on social media. Recovery could be laughing on the couch with your kids watching a movie you loved at their age. It can be a slow puzzle night where everyone puts a few pieces between brushing teeth and pajamas. The point is this. When work pushes hard, your recovery time has to serve your priorities. If your priority is your family, then your recovery should often be time with them, not just time away from everything. My wife and I talk about careers and time a lot. Promotions, raises, big opportunities, side projects, and every step of the way I come back to the same basic belief. If I lose my family in the pursuit of career or money, none of it was worth it to me. None of it. There's a quote from David O. McKay that says, no success can compensate for failures in the home. That hits me hard. You can have the corner office, the nice car, the big numbers in the bank account, or your name on the side of the building. But if you come home to a house full of people who feel ignored, unseen, or resentful, what did you really build? If you've ever seen the movie Click with Adam Sandler, you know this story. He gets the magic remote, fast forwards through the hard family stuff so he can get ahead at work. He wakes up one day with all the outward success and his family is done with him. He dies in the street, rich and empty. For some people, that trade-off might feel worth it. For me, it's not. I don't say that with some high-minded statement from a perfect dad. I say that as a guy who can feel the pull of just one more project, just one more promotion all the time. So I keep circling back to this question. What does success look like if my kids don't know me, like me, or trust me? That question puts my decisions in a different light. If my kids only learn one value statement from me about work and family, I would want it to be this. We save the best for last. We save the best for last. Most of us give our best energy to work because we are afraid. We're afraid of losing the job, losing the income, losing the ability to provide. That fear's real. I'm not pretending it's not. Bills don't pay themselves. But fear can push us into this pattern where work gets our sharpest attention, our best patience, our creative thinking, our kindness, our problem solving, and our family gets the scraps. I want my kids to know that I'm trying as often as I can to flip that. I want them to see that I'm trying to save emotional energy for them, that I say no to some things so I can say yes to them, that I leave a margin in my day so that I'm not constantly snapping because I'm overextended. I don't always nail this. Some days they get the grouchy, burned out version of me, but the goal is there. Save the best for last because they are the best part. Now I want to invite you to do something practical this week. I want you to write a boundary script that protects a family moment and still respects your coworkers and your time. Here's one of mine. I'm coaching my daughter's volleyball team next season. That means I need to leave work very early one afternoon a week for about 10 weeks. I put it on my calendar at the office, out at 3 o'clock, coaching daughter's team. It's blocked and visible. At some point, someone will ask, "Hey, can you work on this for me?" Or, "Hey, why are you always out early every Wednesday?" My script looks something like this. Yes, I'm going to be leaving at 3:30 on Wednesdays for the next couple of months. I'm coaching my daughter's volleyball team, and that time is important to me. I'll make sure we're on track by checking in later that evening and taking care of anything that can't wait until morning. Short, clear, honest. It signals that I'm committed to my family and committed to work. I'm not sneaking out. I'm not making my family the excuse. I'm owning my choice and my plan. You can write your own script for whatever moment you want to protect. Friday night dinner is phone free for us. I do school drop off every morning, so I am not available for calls before 8:30. I don't answer emails after 7 p.m. so I can be with my kids. If there's an emergency, here's how you can reach me. You get to decide what you can offer while still being a good employee or leader. You also get to decide what's non-negotiable for your home. I also want you to name one tiny ritual that could make your love more visible to your kids in 60 seconds or less a day. It doesn't need to be Instagram worthy. It just needs to be consistent and it needs to be real for you. It might be a note in their lunchbox. It might be a quick hug in the driveway before school. It might be standing at the door when they come home and saying, "Hey, I'm glad you're here." It might be a 30-second best and worst part of your day check-in at bedtime. For me, one of the rituals I love most is the garage door moment. When I come in the door from the garage after work, my kids often run toward me. They yell, "Daddy!" and try to knock me over with hugs. There was a day, a few years ago, when I was at a relative's house when the dad came home from work. He walked in, said hi, and none of the kids even looked up. No one ran over. No one cared that he was home. It broke my heart. I decided then that I wanted my kids to know, deep in their bones, that I love them and that I like them. I wanted them to feel excited when I walk in, not scared or indifferent. At bedtime, I also have a little script with them. I say, "Guess what?" And they say, "What?" And I say, "Love you." And then we repeat it. Guess what else? What? Mommy loves you. Guess what else? What? Jesus loves you. Guess what else? What? You're my favorite Lucy or Aubrey or Jane. Guess what else? What? You're beautiful inside and out. We do that every night. I want those phrases burned into their minds so that when life hits hard someday, they have a tape that plays that says, "I am loved. I am wanted. I am someone's favorite. I'm good inside." There's a quote from Frederick Douglass that ties the whole episode together. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." So many of us listening know what it feels like to be the broken adult. We spend time and money and therapy and energy trying to untangle the messages we spend time and money and therapy and energy trying to untangle the messages we absorbed as children. You're only valuable if you perform. You are too much. You're not enough. Your feelings are a problem. We're working hard to rewrite those scripts, to build new muscles, to believe we're allowed to rest, to be loved, to be imperfect. If you're doing that work, I'm proud of you. It's hard and brave. But as parents, we have a chance to give our kids a different starting point. We can still discipline them. We can still have boundaries. We can still expect them to help, to apologize, to do better next time. We don't need perfectly obedient robots. That's easier in the short term, but it doesn't produce resilient adults or good people. We want kids who know they are loved and also know they can think for themselves. Kids who can stand up to peer pressure because they're used to being allowed to disagree respectfully at home. Kids who work hard because they want to contribute, not because they are terrified of being a disappointment. We won't get this perfect. There'll still be things they go to therapy for later and say, yeah, my dad did this thing and it messed with me. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to do the best we can with the tools we have now so they don't have to spend their whole adult life cleaning up our avoidable messes. So, parent is a dream job. What does that mean in real life? It means you let your calendar tell the truth about what matters. It means you miss a meeting sometimes so you can make a game. It means you sprint at work for a season, then unplug so you can be fully present on a trip. It means you build flexibility into your career so you can show up for award assemblies and sick days. It means you talk to your kids, and more importantly, you listen. It means you let your kids tackle you at the door and wrinkle your shirt and steal your heart. It means you save some of your best energy for the people at home, not just the people at work. It also means you give yourself grace when you blow it, because you will. You will snap when you wish you'd stayed calm. You will check your phone when you wish you'd kept it in your pocket. You will miss a thing you wish you had made it to. You can repair, you can apologize, you can say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and mean it. That's part of being a strong parent too. And while you're doing all of this, remember the 3 big ideas we hit today. The days are long, but the years are short. No success can compensate for failure in the home, and it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Let those shape how you show up this week. Write your boundary script. Pick your 60-second love ritual, look at your calendar, and move one thing you need to. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to make it clear enough that your kids can see, without you saying a word, that for you, they are part of your dream life. Thanks for listening today. If this episode made you think about your own life as a parent a little differently, share it with another parent who might need that reminder too. You're doing more good than you think. Your kids will remember your presence far longer than you'll remember how many unread emails you had. It's gonna be great. I'll talk to you next time.